Hey, good evening. I'm really happy to have you here. My name is Daniel. I was a professional opera singer and beatboxer, and tonight we are listening to Music Box of Fate by Ironmouse. So this was donated, or rather, it was a donation request by Boss Joe Gaming, and I normally don't take donation requests because I think it gives people the wrong impression of when you donate to me, that immediately gives you this privilege of ordering me to do a specific song. So I don't really take those often, but they happen infrequently enough that I don't mind being turned on to new music alongside honoring the request itself. And with you guys being fans of the channel, I want to make sure that I'm providing you guys content that you really want to see alongside content that I really want to make. So with that said, it's a give and take relationship, and I want to be able to give you the songs that you guys specifically really want me to go into. So with that said, I do know that this song has been requested more than once, so I'm really excited to jump into this. I have no idea what to expect from this. I've never heard of this group. It's called an original opera song, and I don't know if that means that this is from an original opera or if it's just a song in the operatic style. And I really don't know what to expect at all from this, so, let's just jump into it and see what it's all about. Dude. Dude. This animation is beautiful. I was not expecting this. Oh my gosh. This is incredible. Was that it? Oh, 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 oh. That was the farthest from what I was expecting. Usually, when people suggest things that have the words opera in them, it's the Phantom of the Opera effect. You know, it's the, oh, because opera is in the name, Phantom of the Opera, it's an opera. And very similar to, oh, because rock opera has opera in the name, it's an opera. And yeah, you know, it could be used loosely, but it's not the opera of which not only I am familiar, but it's a completely different take on storytelling. And it's hard to classify it as specifically opera when I think it is deserving of its own subgenre. And it probably is, and I'm just not as knowledgeable about it, to be perfectly honest. But when it comes to opera, there are key points in opera that are very critical to remember, which one is the storytelling aspect. In opera, you are telling a whole story in multiple acts. And for the stories that don't have multiple acts, those are more like operettas or smaller operas, condensed operas. And the idea of it is where you have beautiful orchestration, music that is constantly guiding you throughout the entirety of the story. And then you have the actors that are portraying all of the characters that are there to express the story through words. And the beautiful element about operas is that they're performed in a myriad of different languages. You get, you know, the core five: Italian, German, Spanish, French, and English. But you can also get operas in Czechoslovakian, in Russian, etc. So with all of that said, when I first heard her voice, it reminded me so much of Walt Disney's original Snow White, where a long time ago, I was not a fan of this style of voice. I thought the voice was very, too fluttery, too light. It wasn't grounded, and I really liked deep, powerful, sonorous sounds. So when it came to women's voices, I was still very hypnotized by contraltos, and I still am, but my my appreciation for the human voice has grown tremendously since then. But with that said, when I hear her voice here, it reminds me of that very similar aspect of the original Snow White's voice, which is this pureness, this lightness, this very fluttery and kind of dancing like fairies or fays just off in the forest, just kind of existing as these little orbs of light that are just bouncing around the trees within the mist, or this darker, melancholic atmosphere. And especially when you create this style of animation, which is very much hand-drawn, and that frame-by-frame aesthetic, and all of these darker tones with this beautiful lyrical voice, those darker tones reflecting that melancholic, darker atmosphere with this very pure, beautiful tone just kind of resonating, serving as that light through it. But in a key way, it's also ironic because that very pure, light voice is expressing through the lyrics themselves something dark and something that's so bittersweet to the audience member. And that is such an important element of opera too, where characters themselves, it sometimes is the case, but it's not always the case, where characters have depth, they have nuance. And yes, a character can be portrayed to be a very specific type of antagonist or protagonist. You are the hero, you are the villain. But when the actors or the opera singers take on those characters, they're sitting with those characters. They're understanding their life story up until the opera begins, and really not just giving themselves into the character, but understanding how the character got there, the nuance and depth that got them into that place of heroism, or into that place of villainy, or especially into that place of extraordinary complexity and nuance. There's many instances where you take the opera Don Giovanni, for example, very well known, where Don Giovanni, a womanizer, and his servant, Leporello, are just going around. Leporello's just kind of existing with Giovanni as he's going around doing horrible acts with married women, and out comes a woman that was taken advantage of by Giovanni, and she goes to her husband and says, this man is awful and I feel so hurt, especially because he just ended up dueling my father and my father died because of him. We have to do something about him. But the take on that from the opera singer that was playing that role, she was so incredible because she not only understood that character well, but she also added in she's actually extraordinarily manipulative, that she equally seduced Giovanni as well, and that she always was very self-serving and was able to manipulate her husband into hating this womanizer. Not to say that Giovanni himself was not deserving of such scorn, but, it did add that level of depth and nuance that instead of just being a victim, she herself was a master manipulator, was extraordinarily self-serving, and that adds a little bit more intrigue into her character, even though she's not on stage the entire time. And I absolutely loved that, and I took great inspiration in that when I was able to portray Leporello, the servant. And the servant is on stage a lot, so when he is singing, or especially when he's not singing but still on stage, the mannerisms he gives off and how loyal he actually is to Giovanni versus how much he's there for either the pay or the opportunities that he might seek that is also self-serving, or might be able to produce something of genuine good value even though he's closely associated with someone that is portrayed to be very villainous. And having all of these elements of nuance is so compelling. So when you add all of that into a piece like this, where you have this beautiful voice just kind of carrying you, and you see her immediately, which is this pure angelic creature, just kind of painting her way into this almost Orpheus and Eurydice setting, where, if you guys don't know the story of Orfeo and Eurydice, you get Eurydice is taken down into the underworld, so Orfeo goes down into the underworld to rescue her. And when he finally finds her soul, he is told that he cannot look at her until both of them are out of the underworld. So he finally finds her without looking at her and grabs her and is taking her out of the underworld. And Eurydice looks at him and says, "Why are you not looking at me? My love, please look at me, turn around, look at me." And he has to fight every instinct in his body to not look at her, the person he loves most in this world. And when he finally steps out of the underworld, he finally feels free to look at her. So he turns around and realizes that he's out of the underworld, but she's still in the underworld. That very split break. He was too anxious in that moment to see her. And that ultimately resulted in both of their demise. And it's so heartbreaking, but it's so compelling at the same time. And that's exactly the kind of vibes that I get here, which is the ultimate self-sacrifice, the ultimate I love you and I put you on this elevated pedestal of tremendous longing and elevated emotion that I just can't bear to depart from. And to be able to express that so beautifully and poetically, almost ineffably, and being able to not just comment on that, but actually commit those words into action. Momentum is everything, and and people don't give this enough credit. It is extraordinarily difficult to actually take an idea and a thought and put it into action. Oftentimes when we say that we want to start a project, we tell it to other people so we can get a certain elevation of, hey, I'm going to do this really good thing that's very righteous and virtuous, and we get the reward that we want, which is other people's recognition and approval. And we get that before we even start the project. So because we've already gotten the reward from saying we're going to do something, we're not that motivated anymore to actually follow through with the project itself, because we've already reaped the reward and benefit that we really needed from it, which is the approval and acceptance of our peers. But if you truly in your heart of hearts are emotionally connected with something, pragmatically focused on something, and just ready to take that leap into something that you truly believe in your heart of hearts is the thing to be doing for you, then there's something very noble and very powerful, very human about that. And I absolutely love it. And oftentimes these projects can be led astray very easily, and it could be very difficult to constantly keep getting back up, because engaging with these endeavors can be excruciatingly painful, very similar to just living life. Committing yourself, your being, your not just financial investment, but emotional and mental investment as well into a project is extraordinarily taxing. And to be able to endure blow after blow and keep getting back up and learning from your mistakes and tweaking things here and there in order to better structure yourself to make this project an absolute success is just so difficult. And so I love the theming of this story because of that. You get, whether it's right or not, whether putting someone on that high of a pedestal is right or not. In my personal opinion, putting someone on that high of a pedestal is not only a very dangerous game, but can ultimately lead to so much more destruction than people might view in the moment. But you know, it's love, and love is impossible to understand, at least in my experience. Love is so elusive to me, not in the sense that I don't feel it, because I absolutely do. I have a wonderful girlfriend that I've been dating for several years, and I've known her for over 13 years, but trying to figure out the level of depth of our relationship and what that actually means to both of us individually is still very difficult to put into words. And we do our best to express that love, but it's just a feeling. It's not something we're capable of expressing into something pragmatic or something like reasonable or logical. The way that we engage with our relationship is one that doesn't really make a ton of sense, but we're in it for the ride, and we love that, and we're really interested to know how we're going to constantly keep pursuing that compelling relationship. So my point in all of this is to say the themes of this are exceptional. The animation is breathtaking. I love her voice and how it plays with the instruments itself. It's so dazzling. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You know, usually when I go into the analysis, I just focus on breaking it down, listening to different musical elements. But recently in these past videos, and especially for this one as well, I just want to hear it again all the way through and appreciate it for the music that it is again. I want to analyze it, man. I'll run through it again later, but for this, I gotta break it down. I gotta hear different musical themes and just figure out what it is that I gotta do. So let's just jump into the analysis. Okay, so in that beginning scene, she's cupping this demon's hand that looks like it's breaching through these dark gates, presumably the gates of the underworld. And the hand is gone when we actually turn to this very beautiful spirit. And she obviously still sees and still feels the hand, and you see that in her eyes. You feel that terror, especially with all of these light, airy instruments, but also this darker underlying atmosphere. Oh, it's so genius, this beginning section. Yeah, and hear that, just that slight little pull. You hear the pull, almost as though the demon has already grabbed her hand and is slowly already taking her. Oh, it's so melancholic. Oh my gosh. The idea of love conquered hate, now hate consumes again. It's this idea of light penetrating the darkness, but the darkness has existed before light. Therefore, darkness will always all consume light. And the idea of that being everything is made up of light and darkness, the idea of human beings can be expressed as the most righteous and virtuous among us human beings are capable of committing the most horrific acts, whereas some of the scum of the earth are capable of producing some of the most beautiful acts. And bittersweetly, I have experienced both of those things where people close to me have committed terrible acts of betrayal alongside people who have hurt me have committed acts of true beauty and have saved me. And it's always really important to recognize that darkness does not in every sense reflect pure evil, and light does not in every sense reflect pure righteousness or purity. That we are human beings, we consist of both, we are capable of both. And all of this is to say that it's okay to experience in depth, even to be almost inundated by any one particular emotion, but to not allow it to completely sheathe you and drive you into despicable action is the important thing. Recognizing that rage and frustration and anger and resentment and acrimony, all of these things can be utilized for productive and good purposes. Very similarly, in the adverse of that, experiencing this complex of righteousness and virtuosity being used for self-serving or sinister purposes. The idea of it ultimately being there's a lot of untapped energy we can find in all of these emotions and use it and propel ourselves to greater heights. Rage is a really great tool because it gives us energy that we've never even known we've had in our beings. We're just all of a sudden really riled up and we have all of this untapped energy. We just have a really hard time focusing it because it's just kind of spiraling all over the place. That's why people just try to extricate it by screaming into a pillow or going to the gym and using a punching bag or whatever. But if you can actually use it towards productivity, towards your work, or towards helping others in some key way, then all of a sudden that energy has a very directed and useful intention and purpose. And there's something so poetic and beautiful about that, you know, in the same way of using love as a means of empathizing with others, not just a self-serving love where you're seeking out a romantic partner, but using love in a way to better understand how other people can love, where love is not any one particular focus. It's not any one particular formula for success in a relationship where a man and a woman come together to experience love, or a man and a man, or a woman and a woman, or whatever. It's the idea of when a person forms a genuine and beautiful connection with another person, that can be translated into love. And that doesn't have to be necessarily romantic. It's just what is experienced as love. And I've seen relationships personally where love is the love of the minds. And I know there are going to be plenty of comments that will argue against that to me, where love is solely a romantic interest between a man and a woman or specific like formula. And I absolutely understand and respect that. I was absolutely raised with that. It's just in my experience and what I've seen, and not just others, but seen in myself in some degree, where being able to deeply appreciate to the highest level what someone is able to contribute to your life and what you're able to contribute to someone else's, together, working with each other to build each other up, it is something so extraordinarily beautiful. And all of this is to say that love is so extraordinarily nuanced and complex that the fact that they're using love as a tool to experience darkness is very, 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 very awesome. I love that. Using something that's normally viewed as light and beautiful and just like that focuses on prosperity and goodness is used as a tool to delve deeper into the darkness. I love that. And the animation. Ah. Against the wills of gods will fight. Just further showcasing this incredible scope of what love is, and just solely focusing on, this is my mission. My mission is you, my love. And saying it doesn't matter what obstacles we come against. Even if it's against the wills of gods, we will fight and we will get through this. It's, oh my gosh, it's so incredibly powerful and moving, especially when you get these light, beautiful notes, and her natural lightness in her vibrato, or that pitch modulation in her voice that's just really, really quick. Normally, you don't encounter this type of singer very often, where the vibrato is this fluttery, but it's just so quick and it's so light. And when she really reaches into those higher notes, it's just so much more pure and so much more grounded. And you feel the intensity of that flutter even more. And it's so, so powerful, dude. It's so incredible. Yeah, and I'm sorry for pausing again so soon, but the voice mixed with the orchestration of the piece is so, so, so good. Oh my gosh, this feels very operatic, and I see why it's called an original opera song now, because it absolutely does fit within the operatic world. It's so, so beautiful, and the colors and the everything, oh my god. That entire verse is just so cathartic because of that vision, because of that infallible, impregnable, unassailable desire to be with the one she needs to be with. She has shackled herself to this person. And with that said, truly binding yourself to a person is so both beautiful and horrifying at the same time, because that can lead to some very disastrous decision making, not just for your partner but for yourself. But at the same time, it's so beautiful because no matter what happens, no matter where you go, no matter what fate befalls both of you, you're going to do that together. It doesn't matter if I did everything in my power to be forgiven. It doesn't matter if I did everything in my power to do X, Y, and Z. In her particular case, it's just because she's indicating that it doesn't matter all of these things, because I'm burning every last part of me, every ounce of strength I have, and giving it to you. And it's just so, it's not how I would want to be loved. I'll say it that way, because this feels very obsessive. But at that same end, to experience love to such an extraordinary magnitude is both horrifying, at least in my point of view, but it's also magnificent. It's like if you saw every natural disaster that the earth has ever been able to produce. And you just saw it all happening in one singular collected spot in front of you. An earthquake, a tornado, a powerful lightning strike, all in one singularity. It's horrifying, but it's so dazzling. It's so rare to ever find anything like that, if it's ever even happened before, but it's just there in front of you, before you, and you can't help but be transfixed by that. Oh my god.
Nothing else can sway my heart. From the start, you shone brighter than heaven's star. Even far apart.
Yeah, and then you just get these light, fluttery little sections, little chimes here and there, just indicating this lightness. You are brighter than heaven's brightest star, or something like that. And then all of a sudden she becomes more grounded, more ferocious with the orchestra. She's playing with the orchestra so well here. And now she's grounded, kind of pulled back down from her sky, down into the earth, down into the underworld, ready to make that commitment. Ah!
Nothing will sway my heart. Your music box rings louder than the dying stars. Fire and I against the wills of God. We'll fight, chasing the sound. Oh, as your sun rays eternally bound to you, forever I'll burn for you. So with the last of the strength in my heart,
It's so beautiful. And it just tapers. And notice how it didn't end on a U, but a yo. And it just keeps it open. It's not closed with the ooh. It's just yo. And it fades. Ah. It's just so incredible, dude. Outside of the context of an opera, that needs to be an opera. Oh my gosh. As an expansion of Orfeo and Eurydice, or just as its own particular opera, but playing off of those themes of this obsession, of this constant drive to be with this person, no matter the cost, no matter the sacrifice. It's the idea of nothing in this world, or outside of this world for that matter, can be achieved without personal sacrifice, which I still believe to be absolutely true. Nothing in this world worth achieving can be achieved without sacrifice. But this idea has just taken that idea to its absolute extreme. And again, it's horrifying, but so magnificent at the same time. It's completely transfixing, and it's just completely wrapped me. And I know throughout the entirety of this video, I've been talking a lot more about the philosophy and the storytelling of it rather than the actual music. But I did my best with that, but man, it's just so compelling. And it's why I love opera in the first place. It's not because I love opera, the genre of music, so much as I love the storytelling of it, because it's so dramatic and it's so present and so and the stories are so timeless in how they're expressed. And I've always been a huge fan of storytelling. That's why the beginning stages of this channel was Good Evening Stories, to resume storytelling. But honestly, it's just this is so good, man. This was really something incredible. Dude, thank you for suggesting this. This was awesome. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. If y'all liked it, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And if you didn't like it, please leave a dislike and let me know why in the comments. I do read all of the comments, even if I may not hear to reply to them, so please know your comments do not go unnoticed. I want to thank this incredible person right here for being a part of my highest tier on Patreon. And if you guys would like to join my highest tier on Patreon, or any tier on Patreon, there is a link in the description below. Feel free to check that out at your leisure. You can get ad-free, early access, a bunch of experimental content, Patreon exclusive content, a bunch of content that I'm working on for future channels. It's all there in my Patreon right now, and I'm really excited to keep delving into different types of content as I move forward. I'm reaching out to a bunch of different creators as well, both in and outside of music, to keep learning, to keep growing, and to keep delivering the best content I can for you guys. So I'm really excited for the future of this channel and future channels, and I hope to see you guys down there. But outside of all of that, I'm appreciative to all of you here on YouTube watching these videos as well. It really does mean a lot to me, so thank you so much. And I can't wait to see all of you in the next video. Have a great rest of your evening, everyone.